Hi, I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Have you got lots of muddy clay that you just think, oh, I don't know what to do with? Well, in this video I'm going to show you how you can use it up with your nail varnishes and just some foils. I've got quite a lot of muddy clay still to use up, but this is the ones I've just done for the video. Now I've used UV nail varnishes, I've used regular nail varnishes, and then I've used some craft foils. I got the idea of using the craft foils from a video that Susan and Beccascraftsuk Beads did, and she used the nail transfers to do a video, and I found them in my studio the other day, and I thought, oh, I wonder whether if they cover the muddy clay, and they've worked really well. I'm really happy with these. I've just left quite a lot of these blank, so as you can see these are just blank pieces, but I'm going to do some clay embroidery on these. But that's the colour it was before, and as you can see that's a lot better colour for me to be able to have as a base. So there's lots of different colours and combinations and things that you can do with them. So let's get started and I'll show you how. So to start off with, to make these cabochons you're going to need some muddy clay or scrap clay. Don't waste any of your nice coloured clay on it. This is purely a technique that I'd use for on my muddy clay that I've got off. Now if you're like me, you've got quite a lot of muddy clay, which I have. I've got a right pile at the side of me, and rather than just using it all for bead filler, I want to use it to make something that I can actually use within my crafts and jewellery. So I want to make some cabochons, a bit like these ones here. I'm going to show you how to create the bases for them. So depending on what shape you want to make your cabs, then you just decide what cutters you want. If you've not got any cutters, you could print off some different shapes from the internet, cut them out, and then cut them out with a craft knife, and then you've got your shape. So, but I'm sticking with circles because I like these ones, are nice and easy. So I'm going to take a few in different sizes. Obviously, we want variety in our work, don't we? So I'm just going to cut a few of these out. Now it helps for this when you're wanting to do the domed ones to have very well conditioned clay. The reason is we're going to push it into something to make it domed. So that one's just popped out there. Let's get some of these. Now you can do them flat as well. I just wanted to do these ones domed. So I'll put those out. Now once you've cut them out, if you've got any sort of rough edges, let's go on the outside, and I've managed to get a fur baby hair in there. So you just want to smooth off the edges. Doesn't take much doing, it's just to get all those sort of furry bits off it, as I call them. So and then once you've done that and you've got a nice smooth edge, you can shape them. Now like I said, you can leave them flat, and to do that you just basically put them on a normal towel to go in the oven. But I'm going to show you how I domed them. Now if you wanted to make quite a few of these in one go, then the way that I do mine, you can do more than one at a time. So say if you're wanting to do it the same as your cutter, and you want to sort of like push it into it, you know, like you cut it out how we have and you push it down into the cutter and then you bake it in the cutter, you can only do one at a time. Whereas because I've got quite a lot of clay, I want to get quite a bit of it used up, so take those over there. Now what I generally bake mine in is this. So we'll put a little bit out of it now. Now these are some that I've already baked. I have no idea what this is supposed to be for. I think it's some sort of artist tray or something or other, something like that. I was at a garden centre and they were selling off a load of different bits of kitchenware, and there were 3 pieces for £1. So I'm like, I'll get one of them, it'll come in handy one day, and now it has. So these are some that I've already done. I wanted to show you what they are like when you've popped them out, because these are fresh out the oven. You just push them out. That's as easy as it is. So you can see they're not stuck. You know, you don't have to worry about it. And then I've done a flat one here to show you. Now, if you haven't got anything like that, You could use egg cups or a few other things that I have, just like little bowls. Just something that's curved just to give you that dome shape. So depending on how big a piece you're doing, it will depend on what size thing you need to do to mould them into. So I'll just take that fuzzy bit off of there, it's got stuck to it. So this is all ready for cleaning. This is pot, so I'm just going to push it down into the centre, try and get it level, and then so it's even, and then you just want to push down so it sticks to the whatever you're using to mould. Now if you're wanting to do really tiny ones, which is easy to do, you just have to find something smaller to dome them in, or you could use this and you just push it up against the side. There's always a way around doing these sort of things, but just have a look what you've got in the house, what can go in the oven. So obviously don't be putting plastic in your oven because it'll melt. So I put those ones in there, and then each time I do them I just basically fill this up and then I bake it, and then I can do another set. Like I say, if you've got more than one thing to use at one time, the more you can bake in one go, rather than you having to put your oven on just for one piece. So, cause there's a cost of living crisis at the minute, you've got to watch every penny. So if you can do more than one at a time, then it will save you electricity. You don't have to put as many you know, you can get more out of one bake rather than you having to have several different bakes. That's what I'm trying to say. So those ones will be ready for baking now. So these are the ones that I've already done. Put them over there, but we'll move them a little bit back. Now, as you can see, these look ugly. They're just muddy clay, but that don't matter. Now, if you've got any sort of like cracking off fuzzy bits on it, if you just take a nail file or a buffer and you can just smooth those bits off, and then just go around your edges, and if it's got distorted or anything, this is just where you can, you know, take a little time just to make sure that they're perfect, and then just wipe the pieces off. Now the first one I'm going to show you how to colour this is I'm using UV nail varnish. Now not everybody's going to have this, but I'm just going to show you because I've got it. You can use normal nail varnish to cover them. Obviously it'll take longer to dry. I'm not sure whether if they'll bake in the oven yet. I've still got to do that, so I will do that before the end of the video once I've filled everything, so I will make sure that I do that part. So as you can see here, I've got all my UV nail varnishes. I've got quite a lot. And I know these can go back in the oven, so I'm just going to randomly, let's pick, oh, what should we do? Spoilt for choice. I think that's pink. Let's put it. There we go. I've got a massive desk now, it never seems to be big enough. Right, where's my acrylic block gone? Oh, it's hiding under the muddy clay. Okay, so when I'm doing it, you're going to need something that you can just hold your cabochon down with once you've got, because you can paint half of it by actually holding it in your hand, and you've got to put it down so that you can finish the rest of it. So I'm just going to show you. Oh, no, that one's just a glitter one. So you need a solid colour to start with, and then you can always put the glitter on top of it if you wish. Let's go with this one. Looks similar to what will coming out in the bottle. There we go. And then I'm just going to give it a nice good coat. Now if there's any little sort of divvies in it, you can try and fill it in with your varnish. You can also put a little bit more clay in it and rebake it, and smooth it out. But if you're going to be decorating your cabs like I like to do, I'll put clay embroidery on them and things like that, then any teeny tiny little crevices I just leave, because they're probably going to be getting covered up anyway when I decorate them. These are just bases that I'm making for me to be able to use them, and that's why I like using the UV nail varnish. One, because it dries quicker, and two, I know that I can rebake it, so I can make these and have a stockpile of them ready for me to decorate. So that's my needle tool, and then now I'll just give that a wipe so it's clean and ready for the next use. So, and then I'm going to cure this underneath my UV lamp for just a minute or two, and then I'll come back and I'll put another coat on. So once I've done that, I'll come back and I'll show you what it's like after its second coat. Right, so I'll give the top two coats now. Now the edge pieces, I'm going to give those a coat as well, because depending on what you do with your cabs is whether if you're going to see it, and I just want to make sure that it's covered just in case it is seen. So because I've already done this side down, we can hold either side of it and spin it round, and then we can just pop it down to go under the lamp again. Now you don't have to do this part if you don't want to, if you know that you're going to be beading around it or putting clay around it, just different things. I just want to make sure that I've got that seal around it just so that it's finished off. And then there we go, nearly there. And then that is done. Now I don't bother with this side of it because I like my domed part to go upwards, but if you do want to, if you want them going the other way, then feel free to coat it as much as you want, but I don't see the point when I know I'm going to be covering it. So I'm going to go and set this, and then I'm going to put a coat of this glitter on over the top of it, and I'll show you the difference between what the colour was before and with the glitter on. Oh, I love the glittery effect that that's given. That's awesome. I really, really like that. Yeah, I'm going to have to make some more of those in different colours. So that's it, that's that one pretty much ready for me to be able to do whatever I want to it now. The other thing I'm going to show you how to do is how I use these foils. Now, I learnt about doing the transfer technique from Susan of Turtle Soup Beads, I can get my teeth in properly, and she used some nail transfers, which is really good, you know, like for like doing the smaller pieces, but for these larger ones, I came across my foils in my regular card making craft that I'd forgotten I got, to be honest, and they're just these sheets, and I thought, oh, I wonder how they'd work, you know, for muddy clay, because if you can cover the entire thing in one of these, then you're going to get a really nice effect, and you know, it's going to be something that's a lot easier than you having to paint each individual thing. So I've got quite a pile of these. They're all different ones. I think I got them from kits from when my kids were little that they weren't bothered about, and I think they did like sticky pictures that you peeled a bit off and then you stuck it to it and then you peel it off, and it does the same thing as this. So when Susan did her video, of course I bought all the nail transfers and things, but these are quite narrow ones, so they don't cover the entire thing. You can get some that are a solid picture going along. Let's see if I can find one of those. So as you can see, they're a solid picture, but they're very, very narrow, so it wouldn't cover that. You'd have to go over it multiple times, and then you might get crossover, you know, sort of patterns and things like that. So if you're wanting to cover the entire thing in one of these, if you can get hold of some of these foils, I think they are generally, you know, if you go into like a craft shop, I think they're like down the kids craft aisle or something. I really can't remember where I got them from, but as you can see, they cover muddy clay really, really well, and it doesn't take 2 minutes to do anyway. So if you do UV nail varnish like what I do, you can get a UV nail transfer glue, which works for the transfers that I bought when I did Susan's video when she brought that one out. And then she also showed about using this two-way glue. This was a favourite of hers to use. But this one I can set again with UV, it sets it a lot quicker, and I can go over it multiple times rather than having to do just one thick layer of something. So I'll do the flat one this time. And again, this is just one of the things that you can get in the nail art section. If you try AliExpress, Wish, eBay, Amazon, there's lots of different places to do it. So if you just search for nail transfer glue, it works just the same on these other foils that I've found that were left over from my kids. You can use double-sided tape as well, that's another option, but you'd have to get, you know, like the wide stuff, or you'd have to go over it with multiple strips just to make sure that you cover the entire area. So it's just a case of making sure that it's got a good coverage. And probably the best double-sided tape I would say is probably the red liner tape. That's really strong. But again, it'd take a lot longer because you've got to go over it multiple times to cover the entire thing. So I like to do 2 layers of this. So I go cure this under the lamp for 60 seconds, do another coat, and then cure it again, and then I'll come back. So I've got my 2 layers of my nail adhesive on. I've found these ones in the pile that I've already got, and these are on a roll, so these are just as wide, well, not as wide, but you can get, they're definitely wide enough to do the size that I'm doing. So I'm just going to snip myself a bit off, just so it's a little bit easier. Now these rolled up ones, there'll probably be more on there than there is in the sheets that I've got in my stash. But then I'm just going for it, so the back of the foil is that, you know, the one that's not as good, so this is the side that you want facing up. So if you just pop it down on it, I'm just going to give it a good rub. That's all I need to do, and then just take it up. And before you even try lifting any of this, just give everywhere a really good rub. And I like to use my nails as well, just to give it a scratch back, so that it transfers well. Now, if you've got any of your adhesive on the outside, then just make sure you press your foil down onto those. Well, then you can always go around these with your nail varnishes if you've got some, or your regular nail varnishes. And then I'll just like to keep it on, so there's a little bit that's missing there, so I'll just put it back down and give it another rub, and then it's covered it. Check the other side. So it's just an easy way just to make sure you've got all those little pieces covered up, and I think that's it. And then you just take it off, and you've got, that is gorgeous. I really like that. I can't wait to bead around that one. I'm really glad I found these. So, but yeah, I'm going to go and do a few of these more off camera so you can see the different ones that I've got. So it's just a case of just keep doing this, and you can do whatever you want to them. You can decorate them, you can put UV resin on them and dome them up and things like that. So I'm going to go and do a few more off camera now, and then I'll pop back. So as you can see, I've been a busy bee off camera now, and as you can see, I've got lots of lovely blank pieces for me to be able to work on and do different things with. Now, as you can see, these ones I've got patterns on. They've got some foils that I got, you know, the ones that I was telling you about. Now these ones I've just left plain, so I can do some clay embroidery on them and things like that. Now these were just purely a glitter nail varnish, just the regular nail varnish, not the UV ones. So that one needed a few more layers just to get cover up all the muddy clay colour underneath, but just keep putting layers on until it covers it up. And this one, I like this one because it's the holographic one that I did. And these ones are the painted with the regular nail varnish, and I've rebaked them and they were absolutely fine. So you should be okay to just use regular nail varnishes if you've not got any of the UV ones, just to paint over your muddy clay. So as you can see, I've got some nice little blank discs here, so I can do some other crafts with it, and depending on what I want to do. Now this one, this is the regular nail varnishes, and I just put a base on, and then this is the Barry M nail crackle nail varnish. That's the black one. That's the pink, and as it dries it cracks like this, and I didn't know whether if it would look alright on it, but I think it's got a nice quite good texture on it. So I can't remember if I got any more colours. I know I got the pink and the black one here, but it's just another thing. So if you've got some of these in your stash of nail varnishes, then you can use them on that. And then these little teeny tiny ones, I've just used up all the bits of foil that were in between all the larger ones that there were a space left on. In fact, I'll just grab them. I can show you what. So I keep them all clipped on like this now. So as you can see, when you've used one, if I can find it, you know, you have sort of lots of blank spaces and things, and the little ones I've just been using in the spaces to use up the foils. So don't throw away a piece if it's just not got any larger space on it. You can still use it from all these little ones. But I'm really pleased with how these have turned out, and I can't wait to get doing something with them. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments, I'll be happy to answer them. And if you like the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you'd consider subscribing, that'd be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!